Hey everyone, this is Kat. I made my decision of what I'm gonna do. I made it a long time ago. Even if I do yearn to have some acceptance within me, I would rather be accepted by God than blindly obey a bunch of people. Yeah, I want to be accepted by people. I'd love that. But I would rather obey God than listen to a bunch of people. Listen to just because a bunch of people think that I should obey them instead of God and get upset with me for testing the spirits, that does not mean I'm going to do that. I'd rather be shunned by an entire community than bow down to the community and obey when I know full well that they are sinning actively. And they are insisting that if they want to insist that my refusal to sin is somehow not following Jesus in their minds, they can insist that they'll be wrong. I will not sin just because an entire community thinks that I should. If they think that it's somehow not following Jesus to refuse to sin, they're confused people. That's just a fact of life. God does not desire for you to steal, even though I don't care what Making Space's excuse is. His excuse is, well, WikiLeaks leaks stuff all the time, so it's okay for him to pass around stolen information. Which is false. God does not ever ask you to steal, so if you're gonna claim that he wants you to steal, you are lying both to yourself and to me at that point. God does not desire stealing. God does not desire lying. God does not desire bearing false witness either. If you think he does, you're deceived. That's just a fact. And I know that there is a spirit that is trying to convince everybody that lying, slander, bearing false witness, and stealing are all okay in God's eyes, and it's lying. I don't understand why there are a bunch of Christians who think that it's not, but it is lying. It's like I'm talking to a brick wall. I'm trying to tell them, hey, this is sin, and they're saying, no, it's not. God wants us to do all of these sins. And it's like, this is sin against God. And they're like, well, since you refuse to do this with us, you've turned your back on Jesus. There is no logic. Logic went out the window a long time ago, I think. I'm just not gonna continue to expect logic anymore, or try to even look at the way that they're behaving from a logical perspective, because they threw away logic, and they expect that if they wear me down enough, I'll begin sinning with them. And I'm not gonna do that. It's better to be shunned by a community than participate in doing something that God has said we're not supposed to be doing in the first place. I'd rather be shunned, slandered, and lied about myself than begin lying about Chanel and Brandt. I'd rather be hurt than bow down to a community that insists that the best way to follow God is to sin against him. That's my preference. So go ahead. Do whatever you want. I'm not gonna sin no matter how many times you say it, no matter how many times you want me to. I'm not gonna sin with you just because you think that I should. It's not my job. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it either. It's better to be shunned by a community than to sin with a community. The fact of the matter is, I'm not the one walking towards a punishment here. A community that's been lying for 3 years is walking straight towards God's punishment, and they're not gonna care until it's actually there in front of them. Until they're actually facing it. They're not gonna care about what I have to say. God is going to shake the lies out of the truth community, and a serpent will be dead on the floor when he does. The community, at the end of this, will understand that God does not care for lying. Something that somehow not even their Bible couldn't convince them of. It'll be different when they're actually facing God and they're suddenly being shaken by Him, having the lies shaken out of them. God actually does correct His children, and He will do so here, in this case. You've been warned. I would suggest repenting before all of this occurs, but I don't think anybody will listen to me. They don't want to hear a repentance message. They want to keep sinning and sinning and sinning, and they've gotten away with lying for so long that they think that God is okay with it now, even though He's not, and He will show them He is not okay with all of the lying. Again, I refuse to sin with you no matter how badly you want me to. Wearing me down is not gonna get me to start sinning with everybody else. Again, I would rather be shunned, blocked, and banned from an entire community than sin against God with the community and be accepted. That's just a personal preference. I'd rather be on God's good side than all of your good sides. Anyway, so go ahead, censor me. It won't protect you from when God decides to start correcting His children. The amount of censoring me will stop God from correcting people, eventually. I will see everybody in the next video. Thank you for watching.